Good evening, variable traders. BrendonD here. Today I want to point out something interesting where I've been trading for a year now, live since February, and went back in sim during the summertime. Just was changing strategy, stuff that wasn't working out, and just evolving my trading technique. And now I've been live for a few weeks again, started doing recaps, and I noticed today did not take a trade for one whole half hour. Just sat on my heels here and sat on my hands. Feel like Rob H. But this is really where the discipline comes into. I mean, Carlos was making some great calls on Intel, and I just wasn't watching the charts, that stock at that time. And I said, you know what, be patient. They will come to you if there's a stock in play that you're watching. And sure enough, waited till 10 o'clock and happened to be looking at Facebook. The SPY was looking weak at the time as well, and Andrew took almost the exact same trade, if not the same trade. And yeah, I just want to point out before just getting this trade that the SPY at 10, look at the 1 minute here, was losing low a day. So it was about to crack, and I said there's no support besides previous, 2 days ago low. And I said, you know, it's going to lose that. Facebook's going to go with it. So if you jump back to Facebook, around 10 a.m., it's forming a little reverse ABCD here. And I really like that because it was losing the 9 and the 20 on the 1 minute. And on the 5 minute, it was making a new low or just about. So I said if it cracks the low of the previous candle and it's reverse ABC and it's below the 9 and the 20 on the 1 minute, I mean, that looks great to me. It looks very weak. And the stop was about 50 cents higher for my entry at just the pull, or just I guess the high of this reverse ABCD area. And then my first target was VWAP. So I had a 1-to-1 initially, but that was just my initial analysis of the trade. I don't take anything less than 1-to-1, and then you could scale up beyond that to make it 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1. So this ended up being almost a 5-to-1 after I was done scaling out risk reward. So it was a really nice trade, real smooth, just beautiful chart, moving averages, reverse ABC. Everything was really coming into play here. What I also noticed was that the 9 EMA and the 5 minute was pretty far away, so it definitely had some time, some weakness to pull back to that. It wasn't going to hinder this run down the VWAP. So I was watching it, and it was just selling off so fast on the VWAP. It blasted past the 9. Just, you know, I think the reason it just didn't have any resistance at the 9 was just that this run up was pulled away from 9 so sharply that it wasn't kind of teetering and pulling away. It was just run up and then the same run down, and at the same time the SPY lost low of day right there, and you know, the next level was the previous day, the 2 days ago low. And I was just watching the SPY, how that was trading, whether it was cracking the previous day low and then covering Facebook on the way down at these different levels here. So first cover had my stop at the highest consolidation reverse ABCD area. And then my first cover was at VWAP, who stopped the break even, lock in profits. On the next leg down, I switched gears to the 5 minute, wanted to cover on the 20. That was the next level I thought that maybe it could bounce from. So cover a little more there on the 20, and then around the 50 on the 5 minute, which also was the 200 on the 1 minute. So very strong level there I wanted to cover at. And sure enough, yeah, it did bounce back a little bit, you know, normal pullback, possibly to VWAP. But my stop was at break even. I wasn't too worried at this point. I figured, you know, maybe a few minutes later, if it breaks up VWAP and is holding VWAP, I might just get out, or I probably wouldn't let it go back to my break even my entry. But it just ended up selling off, and that was great. And got, you know, the next few candles went down again. I said, you know, 4 scale outs is enough. I pay fixed commission $2.95 per trade with CMEG, so it's not IB where you're paying on the per share plan that a lot of you guys do. And yeah, so that worked out for me, and it was a really sweet trade. Hopefully you guys can just, you know, note my strategy of reverse ABC to crack at these 2 moving averages, using a 5 to see how much it pulled away, using the view up as a target, and then scaling out these moving averages. Break of the 5 minute candle was also another signal, and yeah, and then also noting the SPY, because you don't know when if this is going to follow through. And the SPY was really was really volatile and pushing everything around. So just good to have multiple charts, especially when it's breaking low a day, and Facebook's such a just a high float stock that it's really the market cap's huge in that. So it's really SPYs definitely have a lot of influence on each other there. So anyway, guys, have a great weekend, and that's my recap for today.